Yes, you heard me in the title. There is no need to be overly dramatic about Ferrari. Why? Because, ladies and gents, we are 2 rounds into the dang season. Ergo, calm down. Look, I want to sugarcoat it. The start of the season has been bad for the Italian team. There is no beating around the young bush. We all can it. They ended up making changes in Australia ahead of Saturday, voluntarily losing performance for one reason or another. They had to raise the car, I think. And then that just affected the performance for the rest of the weekend in qualifying, the race, the strategy disaster class in the race, finishing 8th and 10th. Not quite being there in China qualifying after making changes after the sprint, and then managing to get a double disqualification for 2 completely different technical reasons in the race. There's no beating around it. It's not been good. They have work to do. There's something not quite right with the car before they've had to, raise it, lose performance voluntarily. But as I say, it's only the beginning of the season. And while yes, they do need to ideally sort themselves out quickly, they have time. They have a bit of time. Yes, focus will shift to 26 eventually, but you know what I mean, they have time. And according to autoracer.it, Ferrari may be getting somewhere with what the problem is. And here's what the article says. I'll link it below for anybody who wants to go and give it a read themselves. From what we understand, the problem has nothing to do with the new design of the front pull rod suspension, nor with the aerodynamics in the strict sense that it is still respecting the stability requirements. The extra plank wear is not a cause, but a consequence. The rear end structure does not allow for the expected stiffness, which forces the height to be increased in parc ferme to protect oneself with 100 kilos of fuel on board. The main culprit is the rear suspension, along with the new gearbox. In other words, the SF25 struggles with excessive softness that is compromising its operability. In the right conditions, it can generate much more downforce than the previous car. The sprint showed that with what the car could do with 35 kilos of fuel. Qualifying after 3 hours once again raised expectations, less downforce in the corners and greater instability of the rear. It goes on to say about how Loic Serra has returned to Maranello and is trying to work on things, but it's still early days essentially. And it says that the problem is not easy to solve, and that the engineers are also working on some areas of update that should be introduced to new parts from Bahrain. So they're working on it. As they should be, because let's remember that, while all us Tifosi are disappointed with how the season started, the team themselves will arguably be just as if not more disappointed and will want to try and solve their issues as soon as they can. Respond to this bad start to the season quickly and in a way that makes the rest of the season be better. Because look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. What counts for the start of the season, in my opinion, is not exactly the results themselves, but is how you respond to whatever the results you get are, to either try and maintain it throughout the season or to improve on it and get better. Like say McLaren had a pretty damn good start to the season, so they're probably like, what a great start. Now let's try and maintain this, winning podiums, maintain this momentum so we can go and win both championships. Meanwhile at Ferrari, they're probably more like, right, that was bad. Now let's try and get ourselves out of shit creek as soon as we can and get this train back on track. Or something along those lines. Like, the drivers are not the problem with Ferrari. They've got the drivers that can put in the performances that can give Ferrari good results. The team just need to get on top of themselves and their issues and stop screwing up. They've got a gap in qualifying to make up. They're like 3/10 back or something like that. Leclerc reckons that that's about where they are in qualifying. They've got a gap to McLaren, to be fair. I think all of the other 3 top 4 teams have a gap to McLaren. McLaren seem to be pretty damn good right now. But I swear to God, if Ferrari can get on top of themselves and find a solution to this problem that they're having, I swear they can be up there. But they also need to start listening to their drivers more from inside the car, I swear. Because, I mean, Leclerc did call it on the 1 stop last weekend. He told them. Did they listen to him? No, they did not. Not till later on anyway, after he'd already made the first stop of what was originally a 2-stopper. I mean, it's unknown if he still would have been disqualified for being underweight had they listened to him originally and gone for the 1-stop when he suggested Plan C, I think is what it was for them, instead of not going for it and only switching to it later on after, as I said, that he made that stop of what was originally meant to be a 2-stopper. Maybe he would have been, or maybe he would have ended up being just okay, but well, that's what if territory. So yeah, it's understandable to be disappointed, to be pissed about how Ferrari have been doing so far this year. I cannot blame you for it, honestly. I'm disappointed too. Being disappointed or sad or angry when your favorite driver or team has a bad race, it's only natural, we're all only human at the end of the day. But there's no need to overreact or be overly dramatic and say, it's over or whatever. Because we're only 2 rounds into a 24 race season. And come on, if you had to pick between races like, this couple races Ferrari have had happening at either the start of the season, the middle of the season, or the end of the season, personally, I'm picking the start of the season. Because you have more time to make it up. And here's something positive. Ferrari had the fastest pit stop in both races so far. It was 1-2 in Australia even. It may not seem like much, but first, it's something, and second, it's important to have quick pit stops in races, and Ferrari have done that so far. And let's not forget, they did have a pretty good sprint race in China. Ferrari have got a win this year. A sprint win, yeah, but a win is a win. Not to mention, while they got disqualified in China, the race pace wasn't terrible. And for Leclerc, that was even with a damaged front wing, which this is not the first time we've seen that man still be quick when missing a front wing end plate. Ferrari really need to look into how the hell he's still able to be quick even with a damaged front wing, even with missing an end plate, which costs like 30 points in downforce, I think they said. But in all, just, yeah, as the title says, there's no need to be overly dramatic about Ferrari. Yet, anyway. So just calm down, okay? Anyway, what do you think about Ferrari? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.